And we're back.
Live.
We took a week off there, but we're back at it again. Where are we today? Where are we?
Well, this is the Chudcast. We're coming to you live from the couch. If you watch the show, you know we're usually at a desk. Mm-hmm. We decided to do away with it today. Just one of those lazy days.
Yeah.
It was a couch kind of day, man.
Yeah.
Both have the day off. It's a day for the couch.
Yeah, I've been wanting to move. I've been wanting to be a little more lax. A little less like a news show kind of feel to it. Like the couch is so much comfier and not having headphones on is so much comfier.
We're not doing that today either.
Yeah,
we ditched the headphones.
It's more like how we do it in real life. It's officially fall, so I'm going to be wearing a hockey jersey every episode from now on. I've made a vow until spring comes around. So look out for that. I have a ton of different ones. If you'd like me to wear anything special, just let me know. Like if you have any shout outs you want to do. But I mean, we're sitting on the couch. We've got the list of all the topics on the side there, so you guys can see them all.
Right.
And maybe skip ahead if you're not digging a topic. I don't have timestamps on there yet. I haven't quite figured that out yet, but
we don't have an unpaid intern.
We don't have an unpaid intern to do it yet, so we're all working on our time. But that way, there's also in the description some viewing if you guys are looking to like see what the hell we're talking about. I've included some videos that kind of explain a lot of the topics we're going over today. So that's like the technical side of things. That's the technical update for Chudcast John. Episode 8 for John at the restaurant. Number one fan of the show.
Yep.
He requested that I
played
streamed Perfect Dark yesterday, so that's what I was playing.
Okay.
Yeah, he was like, you should stream GoldenEye. And I was like, I don't really play that game. So he's like, all right, Perfect Dark's fine, I guess. But, it's just good to be back. We took a week off last week. We had like a really busy week.
We had an outdoor adventure last week. So
there's going to be a vlog posted about it tomorrow, which very small portion of it is the outdoor adventure that we took. But, it's good to be back. Like, we have a ton of topics that have built up, so let's just get right into it. Number one topic is the poop jogger. This is something that I had no idea about until you told me about it, and like someone else was talking about it too.
I think it was Colin.
Yeah, Colin brought it up too, but somewhere in Colorado, and you can explain it better than me because you know more about it than me. I don't
know that much more about it.
I just watched a video about it like 20 minutes ago, so that's like the extent of my knowledge. But there's a woman in Colorado jogging around a neighborhood. She doesn't look too old.
No.
And she doesn't look too young either, but she's wearing like athletic like gear, like she was intending to go jogging that day. And she's running and she just pulls down the pants, takes a squat, and dumps right in front of everyone. And the same people have seen it multiple times. Please check out the video down in the description if you need to get the full story, and it's like a news article about it. But this woman just takes a dump, and she apparently has paper ready to go for when it happens.
She knows she's pooping when she leaves the house.
It's a premeditated.
She's a serial pooper.
She's a serial pooper. What do they call her? They keep calling her the Mad Pooper.
It's a plug from Bob's Burgers. There's a whole episode called I don't know. No, the episode wasn't called the Mad Pooper, but it's a Bob's Burger thing. The internet surprisingly was not original with the name they came up for her.
Yeah.
But we don't talk about zany things just for just because everybody else is talking about them. The reason I bring it up is because you and I love folk legends.
Yes.
Like folk stories, folk legends, urban legends, all that sort of thing. Like, and does this jogging, poop lady have a future as like a folk legend of? I think she'll be a folk legend of the internet, but that's never really long lived.
No,
to be a folk legend of the internet. Do you think there's she's capable of becoming like a North Pond Hermit type legend.
I think that and if you don't know the North Pond Hermit, make sure you look that up and make sure you look up the song.
Sorry, we didn't link
written about
a video.
Yeah, we'll link that next time, but holy cow. She has all the makings of an urban legend and or a folk hero, and that is the fact that you don't know why they do the things they do.
Right.
And they just do it, and they seem to have their own code of ethics that tells them what to do, and it's different than everyone else. So that's like all the makings of a folk hero right there. The North Pond Hermit was a little cooler because he was kind of just doing his own thing. He didn't really want to bother anyone. This one's almost out there just to bother people.
Yes.
Like, I don't know what her motivation could possibly be, but there's restrooms everywhere. And I've never personally been on a... Well, obviously I don't jog very often. But right. I've never personally been out on a jog and been like, I gotta go immediately. Maybe she has some kind of chronic, like, disease or something. Like, maybe she has a disorder where she has to go when she has to go. And...
It would explain the paper that she's always carrying.
Well, it's like,
around.
buy a treadmill, you know?
Yeah.
When you have something like that, you know? Just get a treadmill because you're and like it said in there, like she's doing it in front of children. And that's just bizarre. Like,
well, kids find poop hilarious.
I know, but like...
Just like I do. So
that's true. I think they're going to be less traumatized than a normal person would be.
Yeah.
But... Holy hell, like, how is that your motivation? And then, like, you know when you play a YouTube video and it starts playing other videos immediately after it just keeps going? There was another woman on there, too, that was just, and they had video of her doing it. It's just bizarre, man.
I think she has a target. I think this is a malicious act that she's doing. I think she's sticking this in somebody's face.
Yeah.
Pretty much. This isn't like for the lulz. I think, women don't do dumb shit like this for the lulz. They do dumb shit like this to get back at somebody.
Yeah.
So, if we find her enemy, we'll find her motive.
Exactly.
So, if, whether it be, somebody in the neighborhood that she's pooping in, or like, whether it be like, I don't know, someone who writes city code or something like that, like maybe she got a ticket for like not picking up after her dog, and she's like, I'll give you guys something to pick up after. And
I was gonna say maybe like she was sick of other people in the neighborhood's dogs shitting on her lawn or something, so she's like, I'm gonna get back at you people and shit on your lawn, but I don't have a dog, so I'm gonna use my own shit. But it's just so weird. But definitely I would listen to a folk song by it. If anyone out here listening has the ability to write and produce a folk song, you should be doing that all the time.
Yeah.
I wonder if those guys have made any other like songs, like new folk songs or anything like that.
Something tells me
but no, it was because the pure passion driven them to write that song. The passion was guiding their pen on the paper to write that song. Not they didn't do it just because. So I don't know if you'd consider it's definitely a folk icon, but not a folk hero. It's possibly a folk villain, like a Rumpelstiltskin. It's definitely not like a, I don't know, what's a good folk. It's not a North Pond Hermit, that's for sure.
We can get into the North Pond Hermit for like an hour.
Yeah.
But to me, the North Pond Hermit is a folk hero.
Yeah.
Even though he did steal from people, he never like took a lot.
Yeah.
And like, we watched that one video where like everyone's like, I didn't really care that they're like, I just thought this disappeared.
Exactly.
I didn't know somebody.
It was kind of like they were a part of it.
They
enjoyed it.
They were rooting him on.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't want him to be caught. I wonder what he's doing now.
He's out of prison.
Really?
Yeah.
They let him out?
Yeah, he's out. I think he's been out for like over a year.
What is he doing? Like, does he have a job?
That'd be the saddest.
Oh yeah, he got totally domesticated by that. Oh my god, I hope not. Wow.
They probably like put him under house arrest.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure he doesn't wander off.
They made him live in the woods again. They threw him back out there. All right, go home. Back to the woods with ye. But yeah, it's just such a weird thing, like to get into someone's head about when they do stuff like that. But speaking of people getting in people's head, topic number 2, the umpire getting hit by a pitch. I feel like I brought this topic up and I showed it to you. And by the things you were saying, like, we try not to talk too much before the show, obviously, because we want to talk on the show about it. But I felt like you have a kind of a different stance toward it than I do about this topic, because I'm a firm believer in, like, well, especially in MLB, I don't think that the umpires are any good. I think they're pretty trash, throughout.
I don't think, as far as the credibility of umpires, they're not, to me, in order of worst officials in a sport to the best. It goes NBA has the worst officials, the NFL has the second worst, MLB, and then I think hockey has the best officials. They usually get it right more often than they get it wrong. So by that, I don't think of umpires doing as poor of a job as the officials in the NBA and the NFL. I think those are the two worst. But that still isn't saying much.
Yeah. Like this occurrence, it was the Tigers versus, I don't even remember, Cleveland, I want to say. But this umpire, it's the third inning. He calls a risky. He calls basically a strike a ball, or a ball a strike, one of the two, and the catcher gets in his face about it. Well, he being I feel like a self-righteous, jerk MLB umpire. I feel like they have the least patience an MLB umpire when they should have the most, because they have the most power. I think out of all the
absolutely.
So I feel like in the NBA and the NHL, all the officials answer to, like in hockey, they answer to Toronto. Like Toronto will call up and be like, "You guys need to review that. That wasn't the right call."
Well, then the NFL has New York.
Exactly.
They run it all out of New York.
So there's like I feel like with
Where
umpiring,
does the NBA run out of? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't know if they run out of. I don't know where the NBA headquarters is. I don't know if it's in
well, do they have like?
It's in like Foxborough.
Do they have like an official that they like?
I don't
like
as
like
far as I know
that they call in for officials.
As far as I know, they don't.
Okay, all right.
As like, but it's a made up sport, and like it's a joke.
It's like a ref in the WWE.
The officiating in it, yeah, exactly. It's not. Real.
The outcome. You're just supposed to hash out the small details in between.
Exactly. So, the umpire, the catcher gets in his face. He throws out the catcher. The manager comes out, throws out the manager. So they put in the backup catcher, and then I think it's later in the game. I think it's like a few innings later. If you watch the sped up version, is what I have queued up for you guys to watch. It looks like a total accident, but if you watch the slowed down version, it looks like he wasn't even making an attempt to catch this ball.
Yeah.
And this pitch comes at him. It's a fastball, hits him right like in the collarbone area, and he goes right down. And everyone's like, "Oh, they hit him on purpose. Like they did it on purpose because he was being an asshole about everything." And I'm one for like vigilante justice.
Yeah.
And especially in sports, obviously, because we're big hockey fans. Like,
right.
Everything gets policed out there. It shouldn't be the umpire's job to police everything.
Right.
It's the same with like people getting hit by pitches, like intentional getting hit by a pitch. It's just a part of the game. That's I think they shouldn't punish too hard because it is what it is. It's usually an answer to someone doing it first. It's rarely just out of nowhere, malicious. But I did think it was funny watching that umpire get hit. Because they have a ton of padding.
Dude, they have like more padding than football players.
Get hurt.
Yeah, he's selling it. Yeah. Whereas like these guys get hit in the hip, like the batters get hit in the hips.
They're like the elbow.
Yeah. And they just they like shake it off and walk to first base. Yeah. This guy fell on his butt.
Yeah.
And like made a whole deal about it.
The trainers had to come out.
Well, as my dad says, he says it with officials in the NFL. But I think it translates pretty much all officials, is like they want, like that's their opportunity to like get on
shine.
TV, like like
it's true.
This isn't a sanctioned part of the topic on our list here, but like I just want to like talk about the the game last night, the football game, Thursday Night Football.
I heard something happened, but I didn't see what happened.
So, like, honestly, last night I think should be the case for Thursday Night Football to just stop being a thing. Like, the game was really, like, and full disclosure, for anybody who doesn't know, I am a Chicago Bears fan. But aside from the Bears playing terribly and Mike Glennon taking a huge shit during the game, like, the game was bad on, like, so many levels. And there were so many flags in that game. And, like, that's when my dad brought it up. He's like, oh, this is their chance to get on TV so that their wives and their family at home can see them on TV. You know, it's all about them, which I think is true. But the game was just terrible. So many injuries, like, because all these guys played a game like 4 days ago.
Exactly.
And then they have to come out and play again. And then there was a bad hit that was just, like,
I heard about
god-awful.
I heard about that.
Like,
so what happened? Because
I
have no idea.
I don't remember the receiver, but the receiver got stood up, you know, caught the ball, traveled like a little bit, got stood up by a linebacker. So it's not like he was breaking away. You know, he got stopped in the middle of the defense. Mm-hmm. And while he was stopped, he was still pumping his feet, trying to get over, you know, try to mow over his tackler.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was Danny Trevathan on the Bears. While this guy was being stood up and held still, ran at him full speed with the top of his helmet hitting the face mask of the receiver. And, like, jeez. It looked bad in full speed, but then when they slowed it down, like, you could see the receiver's helmet, like, buckle. Like, he hit him, like, the face, where, like, the face mask and the helmet meets, like, buckled. Like, it looked like he got hit by a car.
Exactly.
Like,
you know how hard it is to do that?
These Thursday night games are bad.
Yeah.
You know, people are way too intense. They're on short rest. Mm-hmm. Those games need to go. They're shit. Yeah. I don't remember the last time I saw a Thursday Night Football game and went, this is one of the greatest games I've ever seen.
Exactly. No, and sometimes it's like two teams you don't even give a shit about. Like,
most of the time it's two teams that have no give a shit about.
There's no reason to have them on a primetime game like that. It'll be like the Browns and anyone else. It'll be like Browns versus Miami. And it's like, who cares? Mm-hmm. You know? It's... The video is down in the description if you guys want to check it out. It's kind of old now. It's like it happened like a couple weeks ago, but we obviously didn't link up last week, so thought it was worth talking about this week. This next topic is not a happy one. It's a throwback to last week. Last time we did the Chudcast, which is dog cancer, and this time it's not Jensen's dog. It is my dog, Dice. If anyone out there has met Dice, Dice is like the most important thing to my mom that there is.
Yes.
He's a sweet dog.
She arguably loves that dog more than she loves you and Tony collectively.
I know, exactly. Especially Tony. You know? She loves this dog. She loves all animals. And she's always just, you know, with all of us out of the house, like, Dice is the only one that stayed, obviously, and we've had him for who knows? It's over 10 years.
Yeah, you've had him since I met you, which was
we got him. It must have been in freshman year that we got him of high school, so that was a while ago. And he was never the healthiest dog.
No,
he was always he's kind of lethargic, doesn't do much, kind of lays around a lot, loves to eat.
It's like an Artie Lang of the dog world.
Exactly. That's right there, and he loves like licking chemicals. Anytime he finds some chemicals on the ground, he's gonna lick that real quick. And he's starting to get all these like lumps all over himself.
Oh no!
So they're like big, chunky. I'm gonna be seeing him later today, but apparently his face is all like swollen and.
Oh no! Poor Dice.
My mom texts me about it all the time, so it's just like, here we go. Another dog.
Is it cancer? Moment. Like his?
She got it looked at, and I guess there's a bunch of different options that it could be. It could be like
melanoma
or like lymphoma.
Okay.
Like stuff like that. But she says he acts normal, he eats normal. Like he doesn't seem fazed by it at all. But he's just a lumpy dog now, so we're gonna have to see him a little bit later. But that's the dogs, man. Shout out to all the dogs out there that are having.
If anybody listening has a dog that's getting cancer, let us know.
Yeah, let us know in the comments.
Dog cancer part.
This is our number 1 segment right now is dog cancer. I just wanted to bring it up real quick because I know you shared about your dog.
Yeah.
And it's like a big deal. And then it seemed like immediately after that, my mom was like, yeah, Dice is having problems too.
Our dogs can go to dialysis together.
Yeah, there you go. Dog-alysis together. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so I'll be seeing you later, Dice. I hope you're doing good. But yeah, my mom is going to be heartbroken. Every time we lose a dog, it's pretty tough for my mom. So, like, she's worried he won't make it till Christmas. So we'll see.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we'll see. Because Tony's like, Tony, he's like, I'm going to get Dice a puppy, and it's going to help him, get more active and stuff. It's just like, he's kind of too old for that now, Tone. He's got a bunch of lumps. Mm-hmm. I don't think the other dog will cure the lumps. But Tony's like, I'm just going to give him a puppy for Christmas. And my mom's like, he's not going to make it till Christmas. So it's possibly a travesty. Shout out to my dad who has to be at home with Dice all the time now. So, but
when Dice does go, whether it's from this or if he lives a full happy life, what's your mom gonna do? Talk to your dad?
It's tough, man. Yeah, she's gonna have to talk to my dad, which is
nobody wants to do that.
Yikes! But no, they'll probably get another dog. They've tried to get
another dog.
They need
that dog buffer. That's
true. That's true. They usually overlap. But they've tried to get another dog, and Dice did not agree with the dog. But it was also like a really meaty bull terrier, like bulkier than Boomer was. Mm-hmm. And my dad loved it, but Dice didn't like it, so they didn't get it. But my dad was like really into it. So
I'm surprised your dad wasn't like, Dice, you gotta go.
We'll trade you dogs. Yeah.
Do you want this warty dog?
Just like yeah. So we'll have to. I'll keep you guys posted, I guess. But
we'll keep everybody posted on how the cancer dogs are doing.
Exactly. What are the odds? I don't want to. Next Alex is gonna be like, yeah, Charlie, man, he's got some problems.
Let's hope not.
Nah, Charlie is gonna be like the cockroach of dogs. He's gonna live a long time.
Yeah.
But he's gonna start living with Aiden soon, so there's gonna be some kind of pack mentality. There's gonna be some pack troubles there for a power struggle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see about that. But yeah, just a little pet update for you guys. Mm-hmm. This next one is a topic that I had no idea about until this morning. I think it's really cool. And from like a collectibles standpoint, and huge album by Beyonce. Obviously Beyonce is already a huge artist, but this album, it was like through the roof. People lost their mind when it came out. Beyonce, she's so popular that she'll just be like, here's an album, like it'll just come out. There's no promotion. Exactly. There's no like release date. It's just like, here it is. And then people just like absorb it. And this Lemonade album dropped last year. And it was so huge. A lot of hits on there. Talking about infidelity with Jay-Z and stuff. So it was like kind of juicy to listen to as well.
You know a lot more about the album than I originally gave you credit.
It was a huge album. Well, a shout out to the Needle Drop. Huge channel on YouTube. It's where I get all my music. Kind of like where I find out about new music a lot. I trust his reviews. I don't always agree with everything he says. But he talks about Lemonade a lot. Okay. And then the Jay-Z album that came out afterward was like kind of in response to that. Okay. So it has like legs. Like it's really
okay. So
it's considered one of her better albums.
Okay, I did not know that.
Yeah. So that's why this is even a cooler topic because it's so bizarre that something like this would happen. But in the article we read about it, so let's just talk about what it is. So there's a huge market right now for actual vinyl, like pressed vinyl. It's really big. It's seen a huge resurgence lately. And the vinyl making process is actually pretty confusing, I guess. That's what the article made it sound like. There's a lot of room for error. It's easy for things to get fucked up if you're not paying attention. And this is a huge release on vinyl for one of the better albums of the whole. I think it won some, Grammys and stuff. Okay. One of the better albums of the whole year. So it's a vinyl release, and somehow they got these tracks from a band called, what was it, Zex?
Zex.
Zex, not to be confused with Sex, but Zex, it's a Canadian punk rock band that I think is contemporary. They seem like they were around now.
Yeah, they're currently...
They're a current band, but somehow, like, you'll get the record. It was even, like, yellow vinyl, so it's, like, specialty...
It has all the fixings
all
of the regular Lemonade album by Beyonce.
Exactly. Like,
except
the packaging
for one
looked
aspect.
great. The print on the, like, what do you even call that?
The middle
the
of the
label
vinyl?
of the vinyl, I
don't
guess.
know.
The part that has the words on it on the vinyl, the paper part, that would even looked great. Like, and it just happens to play some songs by this Zex band, a Canadian punk rock band. That's not. It's so bizarre. Do you think someone did it on purpose?
See, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like, does this band Zex like know some? Because
Dude,
you know,
that's a huge publicity
this plant.
stunt
If you think about business and the way businesses work, it's not like the record label has a place where they press their vinyls in their basement. Like, this is all outsourced. So, like, some vinyl pressing company like has probably hundreds, if not thousands, of artists that they have to press onto vinyl at any given time. So it's like, does Zex like know somebody at this place where the vinyls are being pressed, and they're like, dude,
it's so wild.
Like, press our music onto Lemonade so we can get some publicity, because it's working.
It is working.
People have been talking about it for the past couple weeks now.
Like it's a great thing if it was a publicity stunt.
And if it was just a screw up, like, that's an awesome screw up.
I know.
Like, I was hoping that when I heard, like, because I originally found out about this on the radio, and the way I heard it was like, they're like, oh yeah, but if you go to play, like, some people, you know, didn't get what they paid for. Like, you know, people thought they were going to hear Lemonade on, you know, on the Lemonade album.
Yeah.
But when they played it, they heard tracks from a punk band. And my first thought was like, I hope this is like the dirtiest punk band. Like, I hope this is like
the Casualties
shit. like I hope this is like grittier than the Casualties. Like, I hope this is the most insane punk band ever.
Yeah.
It's not. It's a very run of the mill punk band.
Yeah.
Little horror punky.
Yeah.
Like, we thought the same thing. They're a cheap knockoff of like the Calibers.
And they're gimmicky. Yeah.
They're like a knockoff between like the Calibers and Blitzkid. Like,
that's totally right, spot on. So, and they have like the female lead singer, so it's like
that's their gimmick. It's like, we got girl lead singer and she's kind of cute.
Exactly. So it's so bizarre. Like, I hope no one's really getting upset about it, like, that really wanted Lemonade, because I feel like a lot of people buy vinyl now and they don't necessarily play it.
No, I feel like it's a conversation piece.
So there's probably going to be still some pressings out there, like, I'm sure, and I know not all the pressings that were made for Lemonade were like this, but there's some that are never going to get played until, you know.
That's what I'm wondering, because like, mess ups like that are very collectible.
Yeah.
So, do you, like, down the line, when this becomes something that, like, people who collect like flukes, you know, once this becomes collectible, what do you do with your Lemonade album that you haven't listened to yet? Do you put it in? Do you unpackage it to see if it is one of the mess ups, or do you sell it saying it could be? I don't know. I haven't opened it. What's more collectible?
I think you could,
because I feel like
you might be able to track it from like some kind of number on it, but you could still probably sell it to someone saying that.
I feel like there's no way to confirm.
Yeah.
Without listening to it.
Yeah, because
whether it's a mess up or not.
It looks exactly like it's supposed to.
Because if that's the case, then there's going to be no unopened like mess up albums to collect, because everybody's going to listen to it to see if it is the mess up.
I hope no one's like out there is getting upset about it, because I'm sure they're issuing like new pressings.
I'm sure they are. I'm sure
you have a messed up copy, and they probably aren't asking for them back. So
I don't know which.
It's a cool little oddity to have.
I don't know which record label Beyonce's on. You know, like We Are Illuminati LLC or something like that. But
Shadow Masters.
I'm sure they're making it right. You know, Beyonce's so huge. She makes so much money for these people that she could they can totally afford to fix this problem for free. And it wouldn't be any skin off their ass.
Exactly.
So, the other thing I want to know is, how does obviously Zex is probably really stoked that they're getting publicity about it, but like, how do they feel monetarily? Where people, Beyonce is getting paid for their music.
It's true.
If you think about it.
It's true.
Like, Beyonce is making money off Zek's music, and they're not seeing any of that money. So, like, from a legal standpoint, how... Like,
I didn't even think about it.
Do they have a case to go after Beyonce and her record label for compensation?
I don't know what they would do. I don't know if it would be like.
I sure as shit would.
I would try at least.
Yeah, I would give it a whirl.
But hell, like that's
Beyonce
bizarre.
can lawyer you under the table in a second.
Because it's such a huge album. Like that's the thing. I'm like, how do you fuck up such a big album like that? I understand like a small album, or like It's just so bizarre. Like, we have a lot of music topics today, too. Like, for some reason, we just happen to have collected a bunch of music topics. I know that's like the first one so far, but we've got a lot going on. Like the next one coming up.
Yeah, actually, our next topic.
Our next topic is a music theme topic. So, this is, in my opinion, and I've been listening to music for a long time. I really get into music. Like, I can appreciate music I don't necessarily want to listen to all the time. I can respect music that's not really my style for being what it is. But this song, in my opinion, is the worst song ever made. And it comes from Maroon 5. And I think it's called Wanna Do What Lovers Do or something like that. Something along those lines. You've heard it on the radio because... Every time I turn on the radio, it's on. And holy cow. Like, this song, there's so many things that I think are wrong with it, but after today, I watched the music video for the first time, and then it's even worse. Like, to me, it's even worse.
Music video is very bad.
It's rough, man. And the thing about the song is it's super catchy. Like, it's definitely gotten in my head a few times, but the thing that frustrates me about it is, like, I've had respect for Maroon 5 as a band before, and I'm kind of getting into this thing where they're just kind of phoning it in. Like, it doesn't seem like they really give a shit about, like, the music anymore, or I'm sure they don't have any, like, day one fans that are still out there. Like, they're just kind of like, I want a new car. Let me just throw together this crap and just throw it in. Like, because it's such like a corporate... like commercial song.
It is.
Like a bubblegum song.
I heard it for the first time like 45 minutes ago. And like I couldn't help but like you listen to like music and it usually in music there's some kind of like theme to the song and like it invokes some kind of like thought or feeling and you can like find a way to relate or connect to the music. And there was none of that in this song. It was literally just like, it was almost like they formed what's it called? Where you get a focus group. Yeah. It's almost like they got a focus group together and they're like, what's the most pleasing sounds you can hear? And then they just like took the top like 7 like answers and they just put it into a song. Because it's a lot of like high-pitched beeps and like ooh, 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 like stuff like that. It literally just sounds good and that's it. Like there's nothing like this it has no depth. Like there's nothing beneath the surface of what you're hearing. That's it. Like the lyrics are shitty. It's just buzzwords back and forth. It's like hashtags the whole song pretty much. How do you think that the whole rest of the band Maroon 5 feels? Cuz I don't know if they were the guys in the music video. But I think they were. They're so unrecognizable that they could have changed members a million times and I would have no idea. Like, he should just, they should just change it to where it's like Adam Levine and the Maroon 5 band. Yeah. Because like exactly. It's really just Adam Levine's show now. Yeah. Those guys, like, he's huge. He's like drop dead gorgeous. Yes. He's on The Voice. Like, nobody cares about the other members of Maroon 5, It's kind of like... And I forgot to silence my phone. Hey, we got a phone call. Chudcast. First ever phone in on the Chudcast. Yep. But, it's... That song, man. If you haven't heard it yet, the link is in the description, just like everything else we've got today. But,
the other thing about the song is that it features an artist that I really respect, and that is SZA, who's a amazing female rapper. She has that song with Travis Scott. It's like called like Love Something, and it's really good. And
I'm back.
She's like, I don't know. I feel like she's above this. Maybe it was for a publicity kind of thing that she would get into this, but that's a whole nother thing right now with rap is like there's a lot of female rap artists that are kind of gunning for that top spot right now. Mm-hmm. Cardi B has a #1 song in America right now with that I Make Money Moves. Have you ever heard that song?
No. It's
not even that good of a song, but it's huge. Danny loves that song because the girl is Dominican. So,
oh, okay.
So Danny's all about that.
Yes.
I hope that like picked up. If you look outside on the patio, there's a cigarette on the ground.
Yeah.
I think it dropped from the top patio because the top patio was like wood planks and there's holes.
Okay.
And I think I was like, either that or someone just sat on my patio and it didn't finish their cigarette. Like, just to hang out or something.
I hope it's that.
I hope so too, man. That's a little bit spookier, though, but
it's folklore.
I'm almost out of this place.
It's folk legend
as long as they're not taking dumps out there, I'm fine. I'm almost out of this place, so I won't have to worry about it much longer. But so that's another song topic of the day. If you disagree with how I feel about it, like, after I listened to it with you, I was like, okay, maybe it's not that bad. You know, like when we sat down and listened to it, but like the more and more I think about it, the worse I think it is.
Yeah.
If you guys think it's a good song and want to defend it, make sure to leave a comment, and I will argue with you in the comments after this video is posted. Or get on the chat right now, but check out the song and tell me that it's a good song, and I will tell you you're a liar. Mm-hmm. Straight up. So next up is not a music thing, but it's also very frustrating. And I'll be honest, like, I shouldn't complain too much today because I didn't have a strategy, but the Super Nintendo Classic Edition came out today. It's the 29th, September 29th today. It came out. They only make a limited amount of these things. Mm-hmm. It's only $80. So
not
it's
bad at all.
Not bad. The Nintendo one was $60. So it's just $20 more. You get tons of good games.
The games on Super Nintendo were so much better anyway.
Exactly. And longer too.
It's worth the extra $20.
It's a game you can invest time into. Like your Zelda, your Metroid, Super Mario. Those are all really long games.
Yeah.
Whereas the Nintendo, it had like Ice Climbers and like arcade style games.
Exactly.
You know, so
it's when stories really started to develop.
Exactly. Like it has Final Fantasy 3 on it. It has
a
ton of good games. I think like Super Punch Out, Super Mario RPG I think is on there, Donkey Kong Country, like so many classics. Mm-hmm. And I have a lot of Earthbound is on there. Where
that alone is worth it.
That alone, you know.
I mean, what's the going rate for an Earthbound?
Dude, let's look that up right now because last I checked, it was over 200.
I believe it, 100%.
But that's a very rare game. Not everyone has that game.
Let's go to eBay.
Earthbound. Looking it up live.
Yep.
But so there's a ton of good games on it. Games that I would buy if they put them up for like $7 a piece. That's not real. 185 I'm seeing one with like all the box and everything for 900. 100. I'm saying you're going to pay $300 for this thing.
278.
You know. We got all kinds of stuff. There's a lot of repros, fake ones and stuff, but
it's between like 150 and like 350 probably.
Exactly.
So, if you just want to play Earthbound, like this new Super Nintendo reprint is 100% worth it.
It's a little tiny box compared to the size of the original one, which is about yay big. Mm-hmm. And it comes with 2 controllers. There's a lot of 2-player games on there. Mario Kart's on there. Mm-hmm. Like, it has so many games you could save. Like, it's not like in the old games where you have to get to a certain point and save. You can save at any time.
That's awesome.
And it's really cheap. But the problem is that they don't make enough of them.
I don't know, like, why that's an issue. Like,
Nintendo is against making money or something.
Do they really think not enough people want this thing. Like
everybody
insane. Wants it.
I wanted one. People were texting me all morning like, "Are you gonna get one?"
The Super Nintendo was the first game system I ever owned. Like, I would love to have one of these things, but I'm not going to go on a wild goose chase around town to find one.
No, and I would never pay scalper prices for one.
No.
I guarantee. Let's look that up on eBay.
Okay.
How much those are going. Because people buy up a shit ton of them, especially through pre-orders.
Mm-hmm.
And then they try to resell them. Classic. So let's see how much these are going for. 184, that's over 100% value. 2 of them for $800. 2 people are watching this. 195, they've sold 16.
That's insane.
Like, how does anyone get their hands on 16 of them? That's what I want to know. That's bullshit. These things should be, this is the, like, Japanese one. It has different games on it. But look at the markup on this thing.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. See,
look at these games on here.
Really what Nintendo's doing is they're costing their fans a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know, like, because what they're, with the market shortages, what they're doing is allowing people to exploit the market shortage and then, mark up Nintendo's customers, you know? And I'm not gonna, some people are petty enough to fault the scalpers who buy them all up.
Yeah.
That's not an issue. They are allowed to do that. That issue would go away if everybody knew Nintendo was going to print enough of these for everybody. People wouldn't be making money off of them. So really, Nintendo's, like, they're really doing their fans a disservice, by either making them wait to get this console, or by forcing them to pay these scalper prices with like, what is it? Like, it's like 120% markup on this shit. Like, Nintendo, I don't know if they're just, like, ignorant, naive, or if they just don't really care about their fans anymore.
They're such a conservative business. They refuse to lose money on anything. If you even look at the Switch, they make it with cheaper parts, or not top of the line. You know, PlayStation, Xbox, it's top of the line, best graphics chip they can get in that thing. But also in Xbox, Microsoft takes a huge loss selling the Xbox, because they make their money by selling the software, the games.
Right.
That's how they make their money. They don't make money on the console. So the console doesn't make PlayStation, it doesn't make Sony or Microsoft any money.
No.
They're losing money by selling consoles. Nintendo makes a profit off of all their consoles. So that's why they're...
It's foolish.
That's why they're usually a little bit lower quality.
Yeah.
Or like lower technology. But these things, they're fucking super easy to make. They're dirt cheap to make, Nintendo. I guarantee it.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why they aren't just cranking them out. This should be under every Christmas tree in America.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the whole world, right, basically.
See, I barely knew about the SNES Classic because I remember when they announced the NES Classic, I was so excited, so pumped, and then I couldn't find one. So you know what? I didn't care anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
I decided I'm not getting one because I'm never going to find one at a reasonable price. And I didn't even know about the SNES one. Yeah. Because I didn't care anymore. I stopped caring about the products that Nintendo puts out because, you know what, they obviously don't care enough to deliver their product to the fans, which... Like,
I'm looking at the list of games here, and, like, there's even more games than I even thought of, because Mega Man X is on here. That's the best Mega Man game. You've got Yoshi's Island. That's like the first game with Baby Mario in it. You've got 2 Kirby games that are both really good. You have Street Fighter 2, which is
that's
huge multiplayer. You have F-Zero, which isn't multiplayer, but it's still good. It's where Captain Falcon's from. Like, these are core games for the Nintendo franchise in general. And if you want people to care about the future games, like Metroid Prime 4 is coming out in a couple of years for the Switch. If you want people to care about these old franchises when you make new games for them, because they don't make a lot of new IPs all the time. No, you gotta sell them this. Little kids should be playing this. Like that's how they're gonna get that brand loyalty to Nintendo right away. And it's cheap for, people our age are probably a little. I think we're a little too young to remember Super Nintendo the way we do. Like, it's
So
probably...
So real quick, not to cut you off. Super Nintendo was my first console because my uncle bought a PlayStation right when it came out and gave me his Super Nintendo. So that's where our generation falls into the Super Nintendo, because I was probably 5 or 6 when he gave me the Super Nintendo, and I'm 25 now. Yeah. So we weren't like the target market for the Super Nintendo. This is
technically before our time.
It is before our time.
But it's the first console I ever played myself, and that's how I got into like Zelda and all those kind of characters, or Link and all those kind of characters. But the first console I ever owned was the N64. So this is before our time. But
was there a problem with the N64 like this, where there was a shortage, or do you think?
No.
Okay, so there were plenty of N64s, right?
But it came out way after they should have put it out.
Okay.
They came out way late.
So Nintendo was never really on top of their game for the most part.
You know what consoles they were on top of their game for is the fucking Wii U. That shit was everywhere because no one wanted it because there's no good games on it. But the Switch, people still have trouble finding those. Every time
I remember even the GameCube was... Like, I think the GameCube is a great console. Yeah. It's phenomenal. But it took so long for any worthwhile games to come out on GameCube. They were milking Luigi's Mansion for like 6 months. Yeah. Okay, we get it. Luigi's Mansion. No one gives a shit. Like, give us some better games.
Yeah. I remember we had like NBA Courtside 2002 for like the longest time. And that was the only game
it took so long to get good games on the GameCube.
Then, but... This thing, also, I forgot to mention, it has Star Fox on it, which is the first, Star Fox game. But it has an unreleased game, and that's Star Fox 2. Never came out, really.
Wow.
The story of it was they made it, but the N64 was going to be coming out, so they scrapped it to make a new one for the N64. But it was a complete game. It was on ROMs. People were playing it for years, but this is the final, version of it. It's fully complete and everything. So this is the only way you can play that game, is owning one of these things. And it's just on there. It's bizarre. Look at this list here. It's the best version of Street Fighter 2. It's the Turbo. It has Secret of Mana. That's a long game.
Honestly, some of these games are so good and desirable that this console could come out with just 5 of these games and it would be worth $80.
Many of them are so rare.
Past, Super Metroid, Mega Man X, Earthbound, and the Star Fox 2. If they released just that on this, which they wouldn't because that's dumb, it would be worth it though. I know. It's well worth the $80, but Nintendo isn't giving their fans a real bargain.
So it's a nightmare. I just went to 2 different places to check, and it was a Target and a Best Buy, and neither of them had any even sign of it being there at any point. So I don't even know if they got a shipment in. Nintendo said they were going to make more of these than they made of the NES, and they said they were.
So they made 5 more.
And they said they were going to be coming
taking a
out.
Risk here, boys.
There's going to be waves of them coming out. So this isn't all of them they made.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Exactly. And they also said they're going to start making the NES Classic again, too. So, we'll see. I don't believe them.
To me, the luster of the NES Classic has already worn off. I've lost interest in it. So
what I want
I want this, though. This is a cool product.
It's great.
This is something,
the graphics are good enough. It's,
this is something enough. I could, totally, waste my night away playing. This is... pure nostalgia.
Exactly. The sounds
and the games are good,
and it's in HD.
It's phenomenal. We were watching it. It's all HDMI, so you basically have your HDMI and your power supply cable, and that's it. That's super easy setup. And it's so small. I would probably take it places with me.
And the interface is really good. The switching between games is easy. So many of these games, Super Mario RPG is extremely rare and expensive. Same with Earthbound. Super Ghouls and Goblins is really expensive. There's a ton of games that you can't even get unless you want to steal from Nintendo on this. And that's what people are just going to do. people people can just make a Raspberry Pi that hooks up to their TV if they want. They can load every game ever made onto it. But they'd rather spend money at Nintendo and buy the shit from them and have it be legit. But, I'm with you, though. I can't blame the scalpers.
No, I can't either.
No. They've created that market.
Nintendo created the scalpers.
Exactly.
That's the problem.
Exactly.
The scalpers, are just like the rest of us. They're just trying to make some money in a market that they see, they can make money in. Nintendo provided the market for these people to make money. I'm not gonna fault somebody for making money when they can make money doing it.
Yeah.
As long as it's not illegal or unethical.
Exactly.
I don't think scalping is unethical because you're taking property that you own and you're reselling it.
Exactly.
That's perfectly fine. Nintendo is at fault here. They're the ones punishing their fans.
Yeah.
I feel you are a huge Nintendo fan.
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
Not as much. I'm not as much of a Nintendo fan as you are. And it's almost like you have so much invested into the Nintendo brand, and Nintendo's just choosing to punish you for it. It's they're like, how dare you like us so much? Like, we're gonna make you suffer at every turn.
Exactly.
And
like
it's sad.
It's like the Buffalo Bills. I'm gonna stop supporting them until they start supporting me. You know what I mean? Like, give me something. That a boy, John Church. He's watching the show. He's probably at work right now.
I love it, man.
What up?
Our biggest fan, John, agreed with what we're saying.
John is in the building. John, you're a guest. Basically, you're here. Who knows what he's agreeing to?
I don't know what he's agreeing to. We were on the browser page forever, so I don't know when he wrote that. He's a huge
Super Nintendo fan, though. He always whenever I stream a Super Nintendo game, he's all about it. So
that's awesome.
But the thing about this whole I know a guy that probably has one. I think that's Ben Tolmachev. I think he pre-ordered one.
Hey, what happened is a helicopter flew it to his house and delivered it to him.
He's like, this is boring, throws it out. Oh my god. But yeah, it's really frustrating because I would love to have something like that.
You know what? On my way home, I'll stop at a couple places. If I find a place that has one, I'll give you.
I was gonna, because I'm going to Cave Creek later.
I'll buy
check
5 of them and sell you one for $180.
After seeing, I'll be going on eBay. You can find me at J-Bone. Yeah. Well, that's the other thing is if you're not gonna make a million of these or several million of these things, make a pack, a DLC pack that you could just throw on the Switch, and I'd spend $100 on that on the Switch.
Yeah.
I feel like they're not charging enough, and they're not making enough.
No.
It's just a poor business practice. Are they that comfortable as a company to be able to leave all that money on the table?
Does Nintendo have some other kind of side vested interest that we don't know about? Like Konami with their pachinko machines? like Konami snubs all their fans because they're making so much money on pachinko machines where they don't really care whether Yu-Gi-Oh! Or any of their games do well.
It's true.
Is Nintendo in the same, are they making underwear vending machines in Japan that are just huge and they don't really
candy machines.
They really don't need to make money off of games anymore.
I don't know what they do, man. It just is bizarre. You think they'd be
the way they're making money is monetizing off of other people's videos on YouTube.
Tell me about
That's
it.
really how they're making their money, and they're like, we don't need these fucking games anymore.
Exactly. Well, it's just put the fucking thing in my house. I will buy it. I have the money. I'm willing to spend it.
See, that's the thing.
The demand is there. Why is the supply not there?
Is Microsoft and Sony
they would kill to have some of this kind of shit. Be able to do this.
Nintendo and Sony almost knock on, or not Nintendo. Microsoft and Sony damn near knock on your door, begging you to buy your shit.
Exactly.
They are trying so hard to give you something you want.
Come up with something you want.
Yeah, they try hard to get money, whereas Nintendo just does not really seem to care. Had mass merchandise.
Yeah, that's true, John. They did. But it's, I don't know, man.
It's frustrating.
It's a frustrating thing because it would look so nice on my shelf, sitting there. Because I don't have an actual Super Nintendo. I have the Twin, which plays Nintendo and Super Nintendo. But I'd like to have an official Nintendo product sitting there.
Yeah.
That's gonna last me forever, and then I could play. I have a lot of the games on that list, but there's a lot of them that I really want that I've never been able to have. I have a repro version of Earthbound, so I can play that. But Super Mario RPG, Super Metroid, Mega Man X.
I've never played Earthbound, and I've always wanted to play it.
Dude,
this is like the best
crazy
opportunity
good. It's crazy how like entertaining it is, and like
I want that. I want to play Earthbound.
It's super fun. Like I highly recommend it. But like, it's the fans are getting snubbed by Nintendo. Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful transition into our next topic, which is
another snub.
Another fucking snub, which I am personally not that upset about.
I am very upset about
I'm
it.
kind of really okay with it.
This is something like
This is an important topic. That's why we left it till the end. Endish.
Like, I was like, not yelling. I was getting very passionate in the car by myself about this topic. And that's when I was driving earlier and I heard like Huey Lewis and the News came on the radio. Yeah. And you know what? I thought to myself, Huey Lewis and the News, they're not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which I think is a fucking injustice.
Yeah.
So, like, Huey Lewis and the News was arguably like one of the biggest contemporary rock bands in the 80s. And they're still going. Like, you mentioned they're coming here soon. Yeah. That'd be like, it's September 2017, almost October. That's going to be like the second time this year they've been here.
It's like, wild.
Like, the amount of hits these guys have is insane.
Yeah.
Dude, one of their songs was used as the theme song for Back to the Future.
That's
like everybody knows
Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Everybody knows that song. Dude.
Yeah.
Like, is it just because they're not like enough of like a rock band where it's like, because Huey Lewis never like played into the whole like rebellious.
Yeah.
Like they were like, it was just like a dad band almost.
Exactly. Like before that was a thing.
Yeah. It was like, it was just a bunch of guys kind of like just making music and like talking about hot chicks. It was like
that era's version of Dave Matthews Band.
Kind of.
It was like the Dave Matthews Band for that decade.
They weren't really like, like stonerish though.
No, but I mean
they
like,
were like
the easy to digest dad music that you can play at a white wedding.
Exactly.
Like at a white person wedding and get away with it.
Not to be confused with Billy Idol's White Wedding.
No, definitely not to be confused with Billy Idol's.
But that's the thing though, is like their sound isn't like generic. Like Huey Lewis and the News has a very like you may not know the song, but if you hear a song by them, you'll be like, "Oh, this is got to be Huey Lewis and the News."
Yeah.
Like they have a very distinct like style, and I don't think it's bad. Like I think it's very nice. Like it's a good they're a good band, and like they're entertaining. I don't understand why they're getting snubbed on being in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They have more hits and more success than a lot of other bands in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So I don't understand.
Like Hall & Oates is in there.
I mean, Hall & Oates isn't bad, but
what the fuck is going on my phone? Shut up.
Like Hall & Oates isn't bad, but they just, I don't know. I mean, Hall & Oates, they're pretty good, but I just don't see them as like a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame band.
Yeah, but, no, I'm right there with you because like, hip to be square. Want a new drug. Mm-hmm. Trying to think. There's like at least 10 of them. There's at least 10.
They hit number one on the billboards, I think, 4 times.
Yeah. So I almost feel like they're in kind of like a god category where they were so popular and they were so successful that I feel like sometimes the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, they kind of try to put someone in there like a Patti Smith that it's historically artistic and bold to put someone like that in there.
Like the moment Nirvana was allowed in the Hall of Fame, they got in.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I don't know if like just the people that would like would respect Huey Lewis in the News. Thank you, John. I was wondering about that because we're not wearing the headphones today, and I'm glad the sound sounds good because we're trying to be a little more lax.
John is our stand-in sound guy.
He's a helping hand every step of the way. He's gonna be pissed that we talked about the setup in the beginning, but that's okay. He can get over it. You can get your own Joe, John, and I'll talk shit about that. What we need to do is have 2 mics, and then we can just have it like coming from the side here, and then we could literally sit like this the entire time.
Yeah, I need to get a mic for the show.
I'm trying to
that
pressure
way if we
Matt.
have that way if we have a guest,
Yeah.
you know, we can give one of the mics to the
exactly.
guest,
you know, and I'm working on getting a better or like fixing up my computer.
Okay.
I kind of want to get a new graphics card in there and a new CPU so it can do a lot more, especially with this kind of thing. But yeah, Huey Lewis is a huge artist. I don't think they're too upset about not being in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I don't think.
But obviously they're still together. I'm sure it's like the original guys too.
It's got to be close.
You know, like I don't know. That's a very bizarre kind of thing to think about. I wonder if like there's any way you can look online like people that have been considered and then like the Baseball Hall of Fame. There's like people that didn't get the votes that year.
There's like a process to go through to be on the ballot and stuff like that.
But I've been to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland and it just seems not that good. I've been to the Football Hall of Fame and I've been to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And the Football Hall of Fame felt professional the whole time. You felt like these guys are legends. Like they have all their busts and stuff. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was like really small, a lot smaller than it looks from the outside.
Really?
On the inside. And it was like, that's a drum head from the Clash. Cool. It's like going to you get the same feeling as you do when you go to a Hard Rock Cafe. Okay. It's like, oh, there's David Bowie's jumpsuit. You know,
a bunch of miscellaneous like collectibles. Like,
and every once in a while they have like a, like
an eccentric millionaire opened up his own Hall of Fame. Yeah,
exactly. Okay. I don't know. The rock industry must have been really good, but like, haven't they had isn't NWA in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame now?
Yeah, I think they are.
I think they are. So it's like I think that they should, because every once in a while you'll be watching it and they'll throw in like someone from the 20s and it'll be like a legend, like a old legend, like pioneer, and you've never heard of them, but they're like, we're going deep into the vault for this one.
It's like, did you really have to look that hard? Huey Lewis in the News is right there. like just put Huey Lewis in the News in the fucking Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
If it happens in the next 3 years, I'm saying that we caused it.
Oh yes,
there we go.
I will brag about it.
Exactly.
I've only been to one Hall of Fame, and it's the Cheeseburger Hall of Fame. That's at my house. Where this is where I hang out and eat cheeseburgers all day.
I was not expecting that. I was like, really? You've been to a Hall of Fame? Oh my god, that's so funny. Yeah, it's we'll see, man. I think they're definitely deserving. I think there's people in there that are less deserving than they are, so
absolutely,
just put them in there. But I hate how they sued the guys that made the Ghostbusters song just because it sounded too much like their song.
Yeah, that's a little rough.
Maybe that's why there's some deep ghostwriters or Ghostbusters ghostwriters that are in there on the committee to put them in, and they're like, no, it's not happening. We should start a conspiracy about why they're doing that to Huey.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean, I can't remember which Lionel Richie song it was, but they beat out Lionel. It's a song by Huey Lewis in the News that's not their biggest song. It's big enough that they made a music video for it. I can't remember the name of the song, but they beat out Lionel Richie with their song that isn't even very popular, and it was like a really popular Lionel Richie song.
That just made me think of something I wanted to talk about with the worst song ever topic with the Maroon 5 song. It's like, if that's the song they made the music video for, and that's the song that they're playing on the radio, imagine all the other songs on that album.
Yeah.
Rock bands don't usually do singles.
No.
That must be a really shit album. If the whole David Bowie spandex. Yeah, we talked about David Bowie a lot. John has a weird obsession with David Bowie's Bulge in the Labyrinth, which is something a
lot of people do.
I know, but it's something
it has a cult following.
I never really noticed until this is totally off of our topics list, people. So if you're scrolling through, sorry, but I never really noticed it when I was a kid or anything like that. But nowadays I'll see it and I'll be like, yeah, but it was the 80s, man. Everyone had Bulge, you know?
I guarantee you, if you go on Twitter right now, there's probably a Twitter page, or a Twitter account dedicated to David Bowie's Bulge. That's how many people are obsessed with it from that movie. I
have a present for John next time I work with him. It's if he's listening, I don't want to share any details.
Of the Bulge
it's just a close up 1080p shot of the bulge, framed, dick frame. You know, it's gonna be a good time. But you'll be getting that soon, John. But thank you for watching, John, and thank you for commenting. He doesn't have YouTube Red, so I know he's literally looking at his phone like this and making sure the screen doesn't go off so he can hear us. You know, so more power to you, John.
Thank you, John.
You're the man. He's a good guy. You'd like him in person. Like when we first did the first one where you could see us, he's like, Jensen looks exactly how I imagined he would look.
I'm glad I keep up appearances.
Yeah. So where the hell even are we? Are we done with Huey Lewis?
Yeah, let's.
He's gonna be here for the Lost Lake Festival, though.
Huey Lewis, very bizarre. You are in the Chudcast Hall of Fame. Give you that.
Yes.
So moving on, number 8. This is a topic I brought up.
Yeah, this is a total
surprise.
surprise.
This has to do with my favorite So my favorite animated show is King of the Hill.
Yeah.
Created by Mike Judge, who I think is a genius when it comes to, creating animated shows. He made Beavis and Butthead, King of the Hill. Daria had a really short run.
Yes, I love Daria though.
Daria, the humor did not dawn on me when I was a kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Beavis and Butthead was easy to follow.
You have to have a 9 to 5 to
a job. When I was young, Beavis and Butthead was easy to follow because it was so dumb. But like Daria is a more like refined humor.
Exactly.
And like King of the Hill was like what Daria could have been. Like it was a more polished version of like the humor that they're trying to like pass on to the viewer.
Yeah.
So King of the Hill, my favorite show. I love Mike Judge. I'm so like I've been dying for him to do something else, because it's not like he's, some old dude.
Yeah.
He's young still.
Yeah, exactly.
Mike Judge does have a new animated series out. I don't know if it's going to be a one-shot thing where it's just one like where the series is one season.
Yeah. Or
if he's going to make multiple seasons. I don't know how he's going to be able to do it, but it's called Tales from the Tour Bus. And it's I don't know all the logistics of it because I haven't watched any of it yet. I think the first episode has come out already. It's only on Cinemax, which is weird. Like an animated,
that's super weird.
Which is like an animated show being on Cinemax, which makes me think it's like a short series. That's one
6
shot.
episodes or something.
What it's about is it's almost like an animated like documentary of like old country singers. Like it's like
real life ones.
Yeah, real country. Like it's like taking stories from country singers. I'm talking about real.
Dude, that's gonna be nuts.
I'm talking about real country singers, not like Luke Bryan, Jason Aldean.
Talking like Merle Haggard. You're talking
like Hank,
Willie.
I think Hank Williams is one of the characters on it. I think the biggest character on there, like, oh okay.
That a boy.
So, I think like the main singer they're focusing on is Johnny Paycheck, which anybody who doesn't know much about country music, Johnny Paycheck was one of the most like riled country, like he was out there, like hung out with the Hells Angels and shit like this. Like he was like outlaw country. And it's basically, I think it's stories that came up about the country singer, these country artists, and I think they're just being recreated in like animated episodes. And
that's a great idea.
There's not really like anything
did you see any samples of the art style or anything?
The art style is very it's not as good as King of the Hill is a very realistic art style.
Yeah.
This is a little more like blocky,
okay.
It's not as smooth, but it looks good. There's nothing surrounding this that I wanted to talk about, like, oh, this is going to be good. I just wanted to throw it out there because I love Mike Judge, and like any exposure I can get to Mike Judge, I'll take the opportunity to do.
When you have a voice and
I think the man is brilliant. Like Mike Judge's style is like the upper echelon of animated shows, whereas like Seth MacFarlane is like the bottom of the pack.
Exactly.
Like
the low-hanging fruit.
He is. Whenever I take an opportunity to talk up Mike Judge, I'll take the opportunity to also fucking rub Seth MacFarlane in the dirt, because I think Family Guy is the dumbest animated show of all time. I'd rather watch I don't know. Let's see. I don't know. I'd rather watch anything as opposed to Family Guy.
I'd rather watch those Goosebumps TV shows from the 90s where they were made in Canada.
Yeah.
Than to watch Family Guy. Like, I saw a video on YouTube where a guy was kind of analyzing Family Guy, and not to get off topic, but like, he said, you know the episode where Brian dies?
Yeah.
The dog? He said that was like Seth's way of saying, I'm done with this show. Because that was like him, basically.
Yeah, he
like,
was voiced by it.
Yeah, it was like...
I'm pretty sure Brian was voiced by Seth MacFarlane.
And he was like, kind of lived the lifestyle of Seth, like, he was similar character style to Seth MacFarlane, like, as a real life person. And when he died, it was kind of like his way of saying, like, I'm done with the show, or like, you know, I'm making money, they need me to keep doing the show, people are buying these DVDs, like, it's a true testament to like the DVD sales kind of thing that brought all these shows back. But I'm glad to hear this news about Mike Judge, but like, it's shocking to me, like, how I haven't like just been driving and thought, like, what's that guy up to right now?
I think about it all the time.
It's never really crossed my mind.
Why doesn't any of these streaming apps have King of the Hill on them? We might have even talked about this on another Chudcast.
We've definitely talked about it in person.
But like Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, none of these have King of the Hill on them. None of them. And it's bullshit. I think King of the Hill is the best.
That's next season, John.
That would be great. You know, fucking all of those have Family Guy and like the Cleveland Show, which no one cares about. Why can't a single one have King of the Hill? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Any of Mike Judge's stuff is hard to find as far as streaming. Like Beavis and Butthead made a very brief appearance on Netflix, and then they came right off.
Yeah.
I don't know, you know, and it's not like the DVDs are like on the shelves. Yeah. You can't go buy the DVDs of these shows in, you know, retail. You'd have to find them online somewhere.
Same with Daria and all that.
Yeah.
But
did Mike Judge do the Dilbert show? Was that him or was that somebody else?
It wouldn't shock me. Let's take a look. We have the internet at our fingertips. Could stop looking at the Super Nintendo that I want. Dilbert. That's a great show. I love the episode where his dad, Scott Adams.
I don't know who that is.
It's a alias for Mike Judge. That makes sense though, because Dilbert was like a comic strip too.
But I guess it would make sense that Scott Adams makes the transition from the comic to the show.
Yeah,
it wouldn't make much sense to have Mike Judge do the show. But
we can look into that though. Actually, you're right. Let's delve deeper into that.
But you know, it bothers me when I see Mike Judge get overlooked.
Well, he's an artist, you know, like
he really is. Yeah, it must have been Scott Adams.
It had the vibe though.
It did seem like a very Mike Judge show.
Like I always think of Daria and Dilbert being in the same. Because wasn't Daria in Dilbert?
No, Daria is a character from Beavis.
Oh and Butthead. Yeah, I was gonna say I knew she was from something.
Daria
else.
And Beavis and Butthead take place in the same universe.
And then those characters in Beavis and Butthead is what sprang off King of the Hill as well. Like the old guy character.
Yeah, their neighbor.
Yeah.
Their neighbor isn't Hank Hill.
But the same voice.
He's almost the same. He inspired King of the Hill.
Yeah, it's almost like an old version of Hank Hill. Yeah. Like an older Hank Hill. But it is good to see him doing something, and people should take risks on him by having him on, because I feel like every time they put him on after Beavis and Butthead, they've probably thought, this might be outdated by now, you know? But he's continued to put out hits all the time with his shows. King of the Hill had a crazy lifespan.
King of the Hill has, you know, growing up, like, in high school and stuff, like, I thought I was, like, the only King of the Hill fan. Like, no one else really liked King of the Hill. You know, like throughout like middle school and high school, because like everybody liked Family Guy so much.
Yes.
But like now, like it seems like King of the Hill has a really big following. I don't know if that's like a real following or if it's like an internet like satire following. It's not long. Netflix having King of the Hill for 2 years is not long enough, and I don't know when that stretch was, because I've had Netflix for a long time, and I remember watching King of the Hill on there. But I don't remember having a lot of time to watch King of the Hill on there.
Yeah.
So, It must have not been. I don't know.
I remember going over to your place and watching King of the Hill with you a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But
I like, the thing I like about this new show he has, Tales from the Tour Bus, is I like that it pays homage to like old country music.
Yeah.
That's something that doesn't really get a whole lot of exposure in the music industry.
Yeah.
People like to think back to the older times and like the artists that started it all when it comes to like, rock, whether, it's like the Beatles, Led Zeppelin and stuff like that. And, people look back to early hip hop with, like Sugar Hill Gang. That was their name,
yeah,
right?
Sugar Hill Gang.
And then like,
Grandmaster Flash.
And then getting into like where gangster rap started with NWA, but nobody ever really seems to like to reminisce about like original like country music. So I think
it's a shame because they were like pioneers and they were kind of rascals too,
I really like real country music, like the real stuff. And real country music is like more, it sounds weird to say, but real country is more rock and roll than like rock and roll was.
It's true.
Like it was like and I think what helps is like country music, like singers weren't making a shit ton of money back then. So like it was like these hicks that had nothing got a little bit of money and then they like acted like they were fucking millionaires. Like they went nuts, like the famous, I think it was Johnny Paycheck that said there's nothing more dangerous than a hick with a hit record. I think that was Johnny Paycheck. Don't quote me on that, but I think that was him that said it. And it's true, those people were out of their fucking minds back in the day. And it's still going. There is still real country music being made. You're just not going to hear it on the radio.
I feel like, what was I going to say? Like Showtime, right? That's what's on? Cinemax. He's going to have a lot of leeway with what he could do, too.
Oh, absolutely.
There's probably going to be some cans in there. There's going to be all kinds of stuff like that. So I think that's great.
I really want to try
I didn't hear
watch
anything about it.
I don't know if like Cinemax has like a streaming channel like HBO
Sure,
Go.
they have something like that.
But the thing is, I don't want to like ask people like, "Hey, I need your Cinemax subscription so I can watch the new Mike Judge show," because they're gonna be like, "Bullshit, you're gonna watch all that softcore porn."
Oh my god!
Like, hey, if anybody can give me their Cinemax subscription, I would really appreciate it so I can watch the new Mike Judge show.
Exactly.
And if anybody does, if any of the fans or listeners hook me up, I'll give you a shout out on the next Chudcast.
Yeah, exactly. We're shills, man. If you need us to do anything for you, we will do it.
Okay.
Beers are
for
pussies. I'm gonna let that go. Thanks,
Really?
John. That's the first time I've had to approve a comment because it had vulgar language.
It had the word pussy in it.
Yeah.
That's weird.
I'm sure I could turn it off, but it's so that 14-year-old kids don't come on here and just say the N-word blasted during a PewDiePie live stream.
That's awesome.
But that's exciting. That's cool. Mm-hmm. Like it's someone that we like to support.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be coming out. We'll have to figure it out. We'll figure out some way to watch it.
We'll find a way.
But then we'll have a review on a future Chudcast about it once we get our hands on it. But it's time for our oldest segment. Well said, J-Bone. It could have been about anything.
I don't know what
it could have been anything.
But, I'd like to think he's talking about the whole show. He's just like, J-Bone, you're on fire.
You're on fire today, J-Bone.
Everything you said is on point today. So thank you. I appreciate it. Shout out to John.
It's time for our longest running segment.
Yep.
Those pet peeves that get under your fingernails.
Mm-hmm.
The things that make it so I can't sleep at night. It's time for Etiquette Over Easy. It's this week's one we've been kind of sitting on for a little bit because we've had more pressing ones come up, but we can talk about a broader form of grocery store etiquette.
There's
we did talk about that in lines,
yeah,
but I want to primarily focus on shopping cart etiquette.
Yes,
for this time.
Mm-hmm.
Shopping carts is possibly the most, like, the thing you can do in your life and make someone else's life easier.
Yeah.
With, like, little to no effort.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
And become appreciated. You know?
Yes.
It's the easiest way to become appreciated is by taking care of your fucking shopping cart when you go get groceries. Like, no matter where you go, and it could be even a retail, like a Target or a grocery store.
Any place that has carts.
Costco, you have those giant carts. You're going to go, and it's going to be packed, and you're going to see that spot. And you're going to go to pull into it. And the reason that it's the only empty spot is because some fat ass left their cart right in the middle of the spot.
And you know what they did is they put their foot on the back of the shopping cart and pulled back on the handle.
Exactly.
And put the front wheels up on the curb so it couldn't roll away out of that spot. So, you know,
there's a special place in hell for people that do this. I've never seen anything. I don't think there's anything lazier you can do.
I've never understood the laziness behind not returning a shopping cart.
It takes 2 seconds to put it.
Most grocery stores have at least 5 like cart return stations in their parking lot. At least 5.
Am I crazy, or was that not always a thing? Was there always shopping cart return things?
I can't think back to.
I can't remember like being a kid and noticing that.
I always remember.
I think it's because
I remember being a kid. The reason I remember them is because I remember being a kid and like climbing on those rails and shit, and while my parents were loading the groceries, and then yelling at me to like fucking cut it out because I'm gonna break my head open or something. So I always remember those being a thing.
I feel like I don't remember them, but it could be because I was around grocery stores that just didn't happen to have them.
Okay.
Back in the day.
Because
I've seen like movies from the 70s and they'll have it in there. And I'll be like, okay, so they have to have been around.
Yeah.
But not only that, sometimes if I'm parked close enough in the front, I'll just bring it right to the front.
I will too. Most of the time I will.
If I'm not all the way in the back, I'll do that. Because that's some poor guy, and we live in Phoenix, Arizona, one of the hottest places to live. And these poor kids, there's a huge time delay. I meant on the country guys being rock and roll. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, John.
Fucking John's outlaw country himself.
Fuck
you know?
Yeah, man.
John's a cool guy. We got to get him on the show sometime.
I would appreciate it.
I'm down.
Man.
Yeah, if you want to make the trip all the way out here, John. But it's some poor kid's job. They're usually like kids. They're getting paid minimum wage. They're just trying not to spin signs on the corner.
Yeah.
And they have to push these fucking carts and they have to collect them. Like, it's bad enough that they have to take them all from the cart receptacles
and bring them all the way back to the store.
But they have to find all the rogue ones.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating to me. I love what I do a lot lately is if I see someone do that, I don't care what I'm doing. I don't care how much of a hurry I am. If I see someone do that, I will make sure they're still around and I will go over and take the cart and put it away and give them like a death glare.
You know what we should start? Everybody listening. I know John, you're listening. But anybody else who happens to watch this, I think we should start like a campaign where if you happen to be in the parking lot and you see someone going to getting in their car and they leave their cart without putting it away, I say we start flagging them down. Like, hey, sir, ma'am, oh, are you using that shopping cart? And then it'll be like, oh no. And then be like, I'll put it away for you since you obviously can't.
Yeah.
You know,
you
like
fucking loser.
I think these people deserve public shaming.
They do need shaming.
They
need that form of a rotten vegetable.
A shopping cart has fucking wheels on it. How much easier is it to take it from one spot to the other?
John, you make a really good point about the shopping carts. Like, that's what I do is I'll stop and I'll put it away and then I'll move into the spot. I don't, like, back out and leave the spot.
Yeah.
But it's just frustrating. Like, it shouldn't be in the middle of a parking spot is what I'm trying to get at. But that is a good point. But it's these fucking people, man.
It has nothing to do with the inconvenience. It has everything to do with just, like trying to, like, think of why someone is so lazy that they can't put a cart away.
Like, have some respect for others, in your life.
Like, granted, that's their job to get the carts, but, like, it's more their job to get them from the cart return. Like, is it their job to go get the cart if someone throws it on the other side of the road? Like, I wouldn't think so, Like, it's just hard to, like, understand, Especially here in Phoenix. I mean, I worked for a grocery store when I was a senior in high school, and I had to do that during the summer.
Yeah. And
I can remember, like, when you're doing that, man, I can remember, like, feeling every extra step I had to take, like, the sun beating down on me. I could feel the heat from
Got
the
the
asphalt.
reflector vest on.
I could feel the heat from the asphalt soaking through the bottom of my shoes, and I'm dying out there, you know? And you know what? It's not like these people who return carts gather up all their carts, put them up front, and then they get to sit in the break room for 20 minutes and go out and do it again. No, they got to go inside. They got to bag groceries. They got to sweep floors.
Yeah.
Like, their job
Non-stop
isn't
movement.
just that. They bust their ass getting these carts, which these carts, like, have you ever seen them bringing them back to the front of the store? They're huge. It's like 2 car lengths worth of fucking carts.
Yeah.
These poor high school kids drag them on up there, and then they have to go inside and fucking work their ass off again.
It's just ridiculous.
It's, you know,
it's something so small.
It's disgusting.
It's something so small that you can do to just make someone else's life that much easier. And it's a shame that the grocery store companies have to pay people to do this kind of thing just because people don't know how to act. That is a good... That's like good, but who knows who did it, you know?
Yeah.
We're never sure.
I think he's talking about, like, when you see the
them,
person...
just, like, throw it.
Yeah.
You know? And, but it's such a simple... And you'll go to places that have, like, a Costco has the wider lines, so you could fit the cart there. But, so it's not as big of a problem with it being in the way, but it's still, people just leave them there.
Yeah.
Like, those people know what they're doing is wrong.
Yeah.
And they try to get out of there as soon as possible after they do something like that.
It's like, if you're so strapped for time, why'd you go to the grocery store? Like, you know, the grocery store, like, your time of being there is never certain. It fluctuates. Exactly. You know, why'd you go to the grocery store if you're such a huge hurry?
That's why you
like,
go to Walgreens.
Go back tomorrow. Yeah. You know, like...
Yeah,
it's just...
Same thing, like, in the same realm, the basket, I always say, like, if it's light enough for me to carry around in the basket, I can collect all the bags, put them around my hand, and then put the basket back in the basket holder, and then get out of there. I never just leave it, like, on the ground or, like, what's he saying? See? I can't tell if he's for the cart people or against the cart people.
I can't tell either.
Are you for or against the cart people, John?
Are you patronizing this?
This is the first time anyone's not agreed with one of our etiquettes, but and a lot of time I'll be doing it, I'll be putting the cart back, and it won't even be my cart or whatever, and like the cart person like is like, dude, thank you.
Right?
Like, they always, I feel like whenever they see me do it, they always say, like,
I always get some kind of, like, acknowledgement, like, you just made shit easier for me.
Exactly, because, you know, they think, like, every waking moment, like, because they don't have a voice. They can't say, like, hey, put the fucking cart back, you asshole. They can't do that. That's their job. So it requires, like, upstanding citizens that have good etiquette and social, to make the social framework that we all live in a better place. Like, it takes people that don't have any investment to the company that the company couldn't get in trouble for. When you're just an average guy and you're there, and that's what most of our etiquettes are, is like, be a vigilante, you know, like, direct people, like, give people a voice, like employees that can't speak for themselves.
Exactly.
Because those people have to shut up, and that lets those other people kind of act however they want to act, just because no one's going to say anything to them.
Exactly.
And then it develops a whole strategy for them. Like, that's how I live my whole life, you know? That's how I do everything in life. That'd be like you getting gas and, like, not putting the gas thing on again, just, like, letting it on the ground. It was a little more work to put it back on. Yeah. It's like, you're a fucking idiot, you know?
Exactly.
So it always frustrates me, and I always make sure, like, if I'm putting my cart back and I see a cart on the way, I'll bunch that shit together and I'll put it in there together, you know? Like, you gotta you're rushing your life too much, you know? Just relax a little bit. Take the extra time to make someone's day. Like,
yeah. You know, and so I've actually had this conversation with my girlfriend. I don't want to call it as a conversation as much as it was like a roast or like a berating session, because like I was with her one time and she like did not put the cart back. She just left it there, and I like freaked out. Like, why would you do that? Like, this is bullshit. And she's like, so her thing is, she's a nanny. That's what she does for work. And she says it's just a habit, because when I go grocery shopping with the kids I watch, I don't put the cart back because I can't walk away from the car with the kids in it, or like it's just too much of a hassle. And it's like, you know what? My parents had the perfect system for that shit. You know what they did? They made me put the fucking cart back when I was a kid.
That's a very good
They
point.
finished unloading the groceries and they said, okay, go put the cart back.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's what I did. I went and put the fucking cart back when I was a kid.
This might be like some kind of like thing I've seen.
So I don't want to hear this shit about like, oh, I have kids, I can't. You know, turn the AC on and take the 10 seconds it takes to walk over to the cart corral and put it back. It's just a cop out.
Park near the cart corral if you have kids. Park right next to it. There's always a spot next to one. Mm-hmm. You know, with the kids thing, I feel like when I was a kid, my parents I would just like hang on the cart while they pushed it back, and then we would walk together back to the car. Mm-hmm. I don't ever remember any of that being an issue.
No,
and I've never seen my mother or my father or anyone that ever took care of me as a kid put the cart on the fucking rocks like a Neanderthal. You know, I feel bad for the cart kids. Thank you, John. I never leave the carts out, especially in the summer. Yeah, exactly. That's what it is really about. I feel like this isn't as big of an issue in other towns, but it being so fucking hot here, it's unsafe for those kids to have to be there any longer than they should be.
And you know, working at a grocery store, I could give firsthand account is those kids can't dress for that job. You know, when I was it was for an Albertsons I worked for. We had to wear our khaki pants.
Yeah.
If we wanted to wear shorts, we couldn't just wear khaki shorts that we own. We had to buy khaki shorts from Albertsons because they had the little Albertsons logo on them. And they costed like $35. $35 for a part-time, courtesy clerk. That's a lot of money. You know, so we were basically wearing our regular uniforms out there, pants. Like these kids, especially the kid. I feel bad for the kids that work at Fry's where they wear all black.
Yeah,
it's like, man, these kids going out in black t-shirts, black pants, black shoes, having to get carts out of the fucking parking lot. Like, that makes me want to go into Fry's and like bitch at the manager. Like, what is your fucking problem? Like, are you too much of a You get to wear a blue shirt. How about you? Or
exactly.
Color, like a red shirt or something.
Or
they get
white.
to wear a lighter shirt than black, and it's like you get your ass out there and fucking get the carts. Since you're dressed for it.
I know if I was working at a place like that, especially in like a leadership role, I'd be out there trying to do carts as much as possible. Because like those fucking kids, like I feel so bad for them.
You know, these kids aren't doing it because they're planning on making a career out of it.
Exactly.
They're in school, or it's a summer job. And you know what? I know what it is. It's their dad telling them, go get a fucking job.
Yeah, exactly.
Or these kids are trying to get out of the house to get away from their fucked up parents or something. And then they got to go to a grocery store and deal with a bunch of fucked up retards.
So just the moral of the story for the whole etiquette over easy this week is if you guys see someone doing this, like get in there, like confront them about it, be a smartass to them, like be sarcastic to them.
Don't get in a
They
fight
deserved
over
it. Yeah,
Don't make it a bigger issue
than
it is.
Like take them out, but make them remember next time when they do that how big of a POS that they actually are. Like these people need to realize that they can't just get away with that forever. Like we're all, in this together on this rock that we call Earth. Like you got to help each other out as much as you can. Like helping out a stranger is totally lost nowadays.
It really is.
People are so afraid of strangers. And they're so afraid of confrontation. It's like these people need to be addressed.
These poor kids can't speak up for themselves. Unfortunately, their bureaucratic managers won't give them won't give them the go ahead to stick up for themselves and tell people please. These managers won't even let them say, "Hey, please, next time, could you put the cart back?" Like that's even too much confrontation.
Exactly,
for these
you couldn't
people
do that.
Who run
you wouldn't
stores.
be able to do that. You lose your job.
Yeah, exactly. So these kids have to stay quiet. Let's stick up for them. Let's say what they're really thinking. And you know what? Let's really put these people to shame.
Exactly,
because that's what they that's what they deserve is
that's what they're doing to other people. So it comes around. So. That's something that I always notice, like, daily. I go to grocery stores a lot, and I notice it all the time, and it frustrates me. And it'll ruin, like, my whole day, because I'll be thinking about...
We should, like, make... this is, like... I just saw this off the top of my head, so it's probably not the, like... May not be the most polished idea. But, like, I don't want to call it a charity, but we should, like, make a movement where, like, you donate, like, 2 hours on like a Saturday
to just do carts.
To do carts for
dude, I
for
would
these
fucking
kids.
love to do that.
Like, you know, like go, you know, show up to the store, go up to like the kid you see wrangling the carts, be like, hey, you know, my name's J-Bone. I'm just gonna be out here in the parking lot. Gang. I'm gonna like grab all the stray carts I see, and I'm gonna put them in the cart corral for you. Like, I'm not some crazy person stealing your carts.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna help you out for a couple hours.
That'd
because
be awesome.
I appreciate what you do.
We can get leather jackets like a motorcycle gang. It's a cart gang, and we just go everywhere you go. Carts, putting them away. Dude, I don't know. It's this one I was like especially frustrated with because
it's very
people have no decency when they don't do that kind of thing. So
it's like those bastards who never rewound their tapes from Blockbuster.
It's them rearing their ugly head. How could I ruin someone that gets paid less than me's life again? You know. So that's all I had for this week, you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Sorry if you missed us last week. We're still gonna be doing this weekly.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. This is why we ran on a little longer today. This is almost 2 episodes here, so we're making up our time for it. If you disagree with anything we said, if you say fuck those kids and push the carts into, you know, a ravine or something, leave a comment below. I want to hear what you think. This is a discussion. Like Philip DeFranco says, this is a discussion. It's not just us talking, okay? You can bring in anything to the table. John, thanks for hanging out with us and catching it live. We really appreciate you.
Special shout out to John for being active in the chat today. You know, helping us stretch a couple more minutes out of our podcast. Anybody who does participate in a live chat, like, you know, consistently participates, we'll get shout outs on the Chudcast. We will make sure to give you a thanks.
Where the hell is Andrew Johnson?
Dude,
I'm about to call the cops. He's gone.
We need a wellness check on Andrew Johnson.
I know. So Andrew Johnson, if you're out there, give us a sign that you're safe and that you're doing well. We're really worried about you. Just come on back. It's not the same without you. So, I agree. That's it for today, guys. You can see the sun is going down. It's getting dark. Yep. Yeah. But thanks for hanging out, you guys. Tune in next week for more.
Yep. Thank you, everybody.